All right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? You should be able to. I just charged my headset. You should be able to hear me. Can you hear it? One in the chat if you can hear me, please. Thank you very much. How is everybody doing? All right. Dollar Plash 6. Hype for this. Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm hyped too in a way, if you think about it. Lee Davis, poor Liverpool being left behind. E. Simon, my Sherman is never left behind. Nice comeback. Spartacus, true that E. Simon. A lot of support for the Sherman. That's good. Road trip. Yellow. Holy Troller, or Holly Troller, I should say. I got a max on order, but I might cancel if the V13 comes correct. I like that last part, comes correct. We're going to talk a lot about that today because Inmotion has been known, for its quality. And for some reason, they just haven't, I don't know, they just got some bad, I don't want to say luck, but just some bad happenings, mishaps probably. I don't know. Bunny Slippers, right on time. Hey, Bunny Slippers. Yes, the only man with the X-Max. That's awesome. A wheel that I would actually also like to order and try. Road trip. I'm taking it in my bedroom. Good. Very good. Spartacus, won't be any V13 till 2023. I saw someone say not till 2025. So don't hold out for that one. Good day, you stride. Good day, you stride. Thank you, Mr. E. Simon. Good day to you as well. Splash Yo-Yo hype for this. I hear you. Thank you, guys. All right, cool. So you hear me loud and clear. Awesome. So V13 Challenger. That's very interesting, guys. Very interesting. Now, it's funny because I started out with the Inmotion V5, okay, because I was afraid that, if I had bought the more expensive version, V5F at the time, that I would regret it and I would be stuck with something that pretty much had no use or value in my life. That's pretty much how I started. It was a while ago. And if I remember correctly, I wasn't into EUCs at all. That was 2016 or something like that. I went to bed. It was summertime. I went to bed and I saw this guy riding this thing in the woods. It was really small. It was white, and he was doing all kinds of marvelous things that I've never seen before. At the time, I was into bicycles, road bikes and stuff like that. I would go to REI, buy a bike. A couple months later, sell it because with REI, you get to be, they give you the chance to return your bike for full cash if you have a problem with it. Just say you have a problem with it. And they give you your money, no questions asked. I love that. So I would just go back and keep buying newer bikes. Kind of cool if they had that for EUCs. But considering how we beat these things up, they would never have that for EUCs. But anyway, that was interesting. So that's what I was into back then. Not e-wheel, not electric wheels. What? So then I saw this guy going through this backwoods area. And I'm like, holy smoke. So I got the V5. Because I was afraid. I was like, man, if I buy the V5F, which is a little bit more than the V5, I'm going to get stuck with this thing, and I'm not going to need it. Okay? I think, I felt like I had to get over the fear. But it was all perceived. All the fear was perceived because you've never seen this before. It was all in my head. So at the time, the top speed of the V5 was about 13 miles an hour, which by today's standards sounds insanely slow. And of course it is. But speed is very relative if you think about it. Let me explain. If you put yourself in a car, if you get in a car and you drive 13 miles an hour, a motorcycle drive 13 miles an hour, it feels like a snail's pace, right? But you put yourself as a new rider, as a brand new rider who's never experienced this form of riding before, dude, that's like a rocket. You know what I mean? Because you don't have metal around you. You're not surrounded by anything. You're on one wheel device. So the ratio to, I don't want to put it like that, but relative, because speed is relative, the theory of relativity being explained here with EUCs. Basically, when you're in a bigger thing and you have all this metal around you, your speed relative to outside seems very slow because you have a lot of, I don't know how to put it. Like, it just seems slow because you're surrounded by this massive object. So your speed is not necessarily relative to the outside per se. Your speed is relative to the thing you're in relative to what's outside. So it seems kind of like latency. There's like a little bit of latency there. Have you ever been in the train and you sat in the train and the train's not moving? There's another train moving, but then you feel as if you're moving and you're like, what the frick is going on? I'm not moving, but I'm moving. That's happened to me several times before, and I'm like, what the frick is this? That's when I hit up Einstein, try to figure that out. But yeah, that's how I can explain it. So on the V13, on the V5 at the time, it's one-to-one relationship. It's literally me moving. There's nothing around me to be relative to except the surroundings. So 13 miles an hour feels insanely fast. And I thought, man, I wore a helmet. I literally had like a freaking scooter helmet. That's how fast I thought I was going. That was a long time ago, guys. All right. So it was all in my head. The speed was perceived. It was all in my head. So, but now, you know, I did eventually get to the V5F, okay, because I couldn't take 13 miles an hour anymore. I had to get to the V5F. It was a little bit bigger. It was beautiful. It had some other features that I wanted. For example, the handle. It came with the handle. That was cool. And a bunch of other cool little features that I liked it came with. So the top speed, I believe, was around 18 miles an hour or something, or maybe 15 miles an hour, but I was able to push it to like 16 maybe or something like that. You know what I mean? Get every little bit that you can get out of it. It was a fantastic wheel. Not once did I concern myself about cutting out, because at the time I didn't know about cutouts. But not once did I concern myself about that still. So, and now after getting extremely acquainted with the V5F, I naturally upgraded to something more powerful. That is the Gotway Tesla, which I loved, by the way. Had it for several years, and I still have it. It's just taken apart. But why didn't I upgrade to an Inmotion, you ask? Why did I go from a V5, V5F, and not an Inmotion, not another Inmotion? Well, at the time, it's very clear. Inmotion did not produce performance machines at the time. Okay, that's all they had. I would say they created very reliable, short, last mile commuter machines, and they were very good at it. Just like Kingsong, I pretty much put these two in the same category. They were very good at it. I'm pretty sure it happened, but I never heard anyone complain about cutouts when it comes to an Inmotion. Not once. I've never heard it. I'm sure it happened. Never heard it. And, like I did not hear it at all. And if it did happen, it was the speed was probably so slow that most people, I imagine, would just run it off. You know what I mean? Like, you cut out at 10 miles an hour, you just, I mean, what's the average speed of the average human being? Like 12 miles an hour, or maybe less? I don't know. So it's not, if they did experience a cutout, it really wouldn't be something to put on the internet. I cut out an Inmotion V5. Can you check out my video? It's really not that sexy, and not that, something that you could like gain a lot of traction for your channel. So even though wheels weren't that fast back then, cutting out at 10 miles an hour still would not be a thing. Very interesting. You know what I mean? So I didn't see it. So in my mind, I felt like, it would have been natural for Inmotion to increase the production of their wheels to include performance ones, if only for their reliability and safety record and just the quality build, that, because that's one thing I really liked about them, and that's the first thing that punched me in my face, was just how beautiful that wheel was. It was just well put together. You know what I mean? So whether I liked it or not, Gotway, being a performance company that I love, definitely has its share of issues, and cutouts is on the top of the list. Now, let's be honest, a lot of the cutouts that happened was completely due to rider error. I'm sorry. Yes, there were boards that had failures back then. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, yes. But, a lot of these cutouts were rider error. And I strongly feel if it wasn't rider error, Like if all of these cutouts, like literally all of them, majority of them, were due to the board failing every single time, no one would be getting a Gotway right now. No one would be getting a Gotway. And the reason I say that is because deep down inside, when you know you did something wrong, you don't just get rid of the wheel because you know it was you. So you're like, okay, next time I'll just, light up. I'll just go like a little bit lighter on the wheel. I won't push it too far, but I'll still post the video. You know what I mean? So people did get some trust. And now at the time, what's interesting is at the time, Gotway had a 30 mile per hour tilt back, which I believe they still do. You can actually cause your wheel to tilt back up to 30 miles an hour on a Gotway, just like you would an Inmotion and a King Song safely. I believe with Leaperkim, and shout out to Leaperkim, you can do it at pretty much any speed, I think. And you can set it up all on the wheel. You don't need an app for that. But that was one thing that I had to address, that most of the cutouts was definitely writer error. But once the word got out, misinformation spreads with it like wildfire. So hence you have all this in, Gotway stuff. But anyway, fast forward, and we have had several, maybe 2 companies come out now, and they're attempted to kind of like be the king, kind of like dethrone Gotway. You have, Leaperkim, that's number 1, which actually engineers came from Gotway. They attempted, and they did a fantastic job. Like, wow, they really did. Besides the cutout, the test hill, like the cutout hill or whatever, Marty. Besides that video he did, overheat hill test. Besides that, I mean, the Sherman has been spot on, and again, all the cutouts that's been happening with the Sherman is mostly due again to writer error, because a lot of people feel like, listen, this is a 50. They wanted to stamp this on their shirts. This is a 50 mile per hour wheel. I believe maybe some people were just a little bit too eager, and went off off the reservation and started like testing it at like 60 volts, not 60 volts, 60% battery or whatever. Ignoring the weight of the individual who's riding the wheel. I mean, wind resistance, temperature, and probably that increased the number of cutouts we started hearing from people on the Leaperkim. But in my experience, for the very short period that I had the Sherman, that's a solid wheel. That is a solid wheel, let's be honest. Now, in terms of pure performance, off the line, torquing, all that stuff, I don't know. It's neck and neck with Gotway. I'm not gonna go and say Gotway's better. I'm just gonna say it's neck and neck because I've never had a Sherman to push it to that level, but I have watched a lot of videos, and I saw a guy take out, gun it off the line at the Apple Valley Speedway, and he cut right out. He just cut right out. So that, I don't know his battery at the time. I don't know his weight. So I'm just gonna say it's neck and neck with Gotway. I'm not gonna say Sherman is better than Gotway in terms of torque, but I'm gonna say it's better than Gotway in terms of freaking reliability and just how well the product is presented to consumers. And then just the top-notch quality, it's just a great wheel. Now it's too bad that they couldn't take it a step further, but I am literally detouring right now. So let's go back to the V11. Then we have the V13. Then we had King Song come out with the KS20, which is now the KS22, thanks to yours truly, and a bunch of others who also pushed the wheel to its limits, which allowed me to kill it. You know what I'm saying? So all these companies came out, and Gotway's still number 1, guys. With Sherman being right next to it. You know what I'm saying? Right next to it. But let's be honest, apart from Leaperkim, there has been no true competitor to Gotway's prowess. Okay? So, but then freaking Inmotion comes out. I heard a lot of people talk about, Inmotion's coming out with this V13 and the V12 and it was great. Let's be honest. I rode the V12 for a very short period, for an extremely short period at the Cobra rally event. And just a reminder, there is a Cobra rally event coming up in September. I always forget the date, but it is coming up. please check that out. I do plan on making it. As a matter of fact, I just came from off-roading. Not just, but like a couple hours. And then the reason I kept pushing the time further and further is because I literally passed out. Because I woke up too early and I said, babe, I'm going freaking to get my muscles conditioned because I haven't been riding off-roading for a while. And I'm not expecting to go to a freaking rally and then win. You know, I'm not going to do that. So I went off-roading, dude. I didn't ride hard. I just rode enough. And I came back and I passed out. So anyway, it was great. But yes, so now it was a rumor, right? It was a rumor that Inmotion is going to come out with this thing that's going to destroy everybody. It's just going to, you know, like take everybody, you know, like get out of my way. Like, and to me, let's be honest, to me, I didn't have any type of like hopes for Inmotion at all, like zero. It's not that they couldn't. No. It's not that I feel that they could not deliver on something that's equivalent or better than in Sherman or Gotway. No, far from it. Here's what it is. Gotway or Big Goat has always been a type of company, I feel, and I'll say it again, it's always been a company where I feel that, you know, it's your neighborhood engineer. You know, he's in his garage and he's doing this amazing things, and you get up in the morning and you look outside because you're getting your coffee, you look outside the window and you just see sparks flying, and you see him come out this garage and you hear banging going on. You go, you hear sparks, and you know what I'm saying? And you're like, damn, what's he working on? Now, this engineer is known for doing great things. You know, he's just like your neighborhood smart guy. And so you're looking out the window and he's always in his garage, always coming out with these amazing things. That's what I feel Gotway is. That's who I, and that's what gravitated me to Gotway. Now, when I first got into Gotway, like the Tesla, it was Duff, and I will always remember Duff, and a bunch of others, but at the time it was Duff that was saying, stay away from Gotway. Even back then, stay away from Gotway, and for good reason. But I don't know what it is. It's like, I guess if you say stay away from something, the opposite happens. You want to go toward it. It's like the more someone says don't do something, as a human, you just want to do what it is they say don't do. It's so strange. But anyway, I watched so many of his videos to see his rationale and the rationale of many others who said stay away from it at the time. And I was like, man, is it really that bad? Is the quality that bad? And I married that I compared it with the performance. And I saw all these guys just beating up on this wheel and cutting it out and crashing and getting hurt. And I'm like, that's a great wheel. What? That should not be the reaction, but it was. And I got my Tesla. And I was very happy. I'm not sure if it's because of the fact that I got a Gotway or the fact that I'm part of this crowd that is freaking like a devilish. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got the Tesla and I opened it, I took it from the box, I started hearing creaks. Like you move it back and forth, you on the side, you step on it, and you hear like a lot of plastic moving around. Like the quality wasn't perfect, but I'm like, it feels so good though. The motor was powerful. Everything was responsive. And I think that's what just kept me going with Gotway. But the Inmotion Challenger, who saw that coming? Let me ask the chat. Who saw that? And be honest now, because I don't know what you're thinking. Who saw that coming? 1 in the chat if you saw this coming. 2 in the chat if you did not see this coming. 1 in the chat if you saw this coming. 2 in the chat if you did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. So let's see what you guys are saying. Who saw this coming? Who saw this coming? 2. Okay, 2. Who saw this coming? 2. I didn't see this coming. Now, I expected a suspension because Sensei Vegan, who we'll let on in a little bit, he did mention, I remember him saying, man, I can't wait. I'm going to hold out. Oh, one person saw it coming. Green Master Mike, interesting. And a bunny slipper saw it coming. Interesting. Wow. So some people saw it coming. I did not see that coming from Inmotion. Like I said, it's not that I feel that they were unable to make this happen. I knew dude, I was tearing up sometimes in my dreams. Why isn't Inmotion number one? Like, to me, they should be number one. Inmotion should have been number one from the get-go because of their quality and because of their just the design, how they design things. You know, it's just well thought out. Their boards, every time when I opened up my Tesla, I saw the goo and I saw the this and the that. I'm like, holy smokes, what? Reminded me of my time in college in the lab. And then I opened up my Inmotion V5 to change the tire, and I saw the pristine nature of the board. I'm like, holy smokes, look at the difference. And it just saddened me that at the time that Inmotion could not deliver or did not deliver. And I know why. It's because they're corporate. they're corporate. Okay. So the corporate world is like this. Someone in the corporate world comes up with a fantastic idea, presents it to the board, or actually presents it to the engineers and the designers. And they say, freaking great idea. Let's do it because we can. Corporate, once you bring it to the board, they say, yes, we can. No, we won't. And here's why. You see what I'm saying? That's how it goes in the corporate world. And then the engineers, every time they come to work, they're just banging their heads. I wouldn't be surprised if these Inmotion engineers have like freaking Gotways and Leaper games, you know, just not showing it to the corporate. It probably doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So the reason I feel they haven't delivered is because they're corporate. And everything is red tape. Everything has to be signed off. Everything has to be, you know, lawyers and all that. Even if they're freaking in China, you know what I mean? So they still have to, like, you know, get all their, how do they say it? Dots and T's crossed or something like that. But anyway, they finally mentioned that they're going to release a wheel that is worthy of being called the Master, the king of the road. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video that you guys have already seen, but when we watch it, hopefully it plays well and my internet doesn't act up. Let's watch it with a little bit of scrutiny because I did see something in there that I'm very proud about. I saw that they had like the handlebar, like the rail, the guard, whatever, the metal piece to protect from crashes. They actually had that in the video. So the wheel on the rig was actually the wheel stripped down. It was actually the wheel stripped down from the battery and the casing. So there was no casing, there was no battery, but the internal part, meaning the metal piece, was still there. The top part, the control board was possibly still there because I saw the top part. It's kind of like the Master. So let's take a look at this video and just scrutinize it. It's only 3-something minutes, and there is an English translation. So let's just watch it real quick, and then I'll let in Sensei Vegan.
Today, we're going to share our latest technologies and innovations on the motor of electric unicycle Challenger with you. As you know, Inmotion has been cautious with high-speed EUC models during the past years. But this time, we want to do something different. While providing the extremely high-speed riding, we have fully considered the safety margin of each component. As the most powerful motor ever made for the EUC, Challenger's motor can achieve a lift-up speed by 140 kilometers per hour, a rated power by 4,500 watts, a peak power by 10,000 watts, a max torque by 300 Nm, it's safe to say that the Challenger will conquer any hills with ease, travel at any speed with promising safety margins. Like its predecessors, it's a hollow motor, well-sealed, IPX6 waterproof level. Just enjoy the freedom of riding. No need to worry about water or dust getting inside. To produce such an amount of power, the motor is much heavier than all of its counterparts in the market. To allow the motor to get enough input current, we use 8 AWG phase conductor cables, which is double size of the toughest wiring in the current market, that can sustain 160 amps continuous current. As many of our users like stunt riding, such a design can reduce the heat of the phase conductor by 75% during stunt riding, effectively preventing the damage of the phase conductor caused by high temperature of the motor. With reinforced rim design, it can support vertical impact up to 2,700 kilograms, which is double the pressure of V12 HT. To provide extra safety guarantee, we implemented redundant Hall sensor systems. In case either one fails while riding, the other one can take over the task to make sure no cutout happens. Now, I believe you have a basic understanding about the motor of Challenger and cannot wait to try it out. Please stay tuned for more details as it hits on the market.
All right, so I'm gonna let in our sensei. Hello, sensei. How are you?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear sensei? Can you guys hear sensei?
I'm running on a shoddy setup today, so.
Hey, that's fine. I'm shoddy right now. I'm supposed to have a green screen to make my background look great, but I'm shoddy today.
Hope mine doesn't fall down.
So what I wanted to do was look at this video with a little bit more scrutiny, guys. And okay, let's review some of what they say. It's a very short video, but in that short video, there was a lot said. Okay, 140 kilometers per hour, which can be converted to something. You guys convert that. I think it's like 80. Somebody said
80, 87 or 88 miles an hour.
Okay, very, very insane speeds right there. 4,500 watt motor, but it has a peak rating of 10,000 watts. Now they say that, you know, you can reach any speeds. Of course, they're talking about within that range that they presented earlier, 188 or whatever. Any speed with promising, okay, I'm listening to their freaking words, with promising safety margins. It has a hollow motor, IPX6. It's very heavy motor to withstand impacts. It's a high torque with wires that can pretty much handle up to 160 amps to protect from high current draw and temperature. Reinforced rim design. I know Chooch was talking about how the V12 torque had some issues with the rim, and so he, you know, told them, hey, listen, reinforce or make it stronger, and maybe they listened to that, and others who possibly mentioned that as well. But he did have a problem with the rim. So the rim is reinforced. And then redundant Hall sensor. Now, when I hear redundant Hall sensor, I'm thinking of the KS20. Remember when they said that? They didn't say redundant. Right. They didn't say redundant Hall sensor, but they did mention something about Hall sensorless technology, that in case of, you know, a Hall sensor going bad, that, you know, the software or whatever will be able to like kick in. But here's the thing here though. How many people that you know, and maybe they don't know that's the reason their wheels cut out, but how many people do you know complain of cutting out due to a Hall sensor? I don't know many. I'm sure they do exist, because when a Hall sensor goes bad, a few things happen. Here are some tall tale signs about whether or not it's your Hall sensor. Your board still works, so your wheel turns on, but it will not balance. That's a tall tale sign that it is your Hall sensor. So I've seen two instances of that happening, one of which I've actually recorded. in New York. One guy was actually riding too fast. He was down to like 35% battery under load on his MSP and torqued it. The wheel spun over, and I guess during that spin and crashing and impact of the wheel onto the ground, the hall sensor might have gotten loose. I'm not sure if that's what happened or the hall sensor was bad and then he cut out. I have no idea. Then there was another one where he's like, "Hey, Jediah, what happened to my wheel? I'm seeing the light turn orange when I turned on the wheel. What's going on here? The board is working, but the wheel is not balancing." So usually that's a hall sensor problem. But if we pay close attention to the V12, what has happened recently? If I do a quick search on V12 on YouTube and just type in V12 problems, you're going to see a lot of issues with the board. So I'm not sure why there. And George Go did mention that he would like to see redundancy where the board is concerned. Because let's be honest, that's where the issue is. Go ahead, take it away, Mr. Sensei.
All right, what's up, everybody? So, like you said before, dude, I said I was going to hold out and wait because I knew they were going to do a suspension wheel. I didn't think they were going to sit back and wait and see what everyone had to offer. But they were smart, and they led with one of the things that was going to get everybody's whistle wet, and that was speed. It's like the speed. People, oh man, 142 kilometers an hour, 88 miles an hour. That is what they led with, and that is what people were, clapping their hands like circus seals for. Now, this is the other thing you have to look at. One is price. They didn't tell anybody the price.
Well, they're not gonna. Right. Let's be fair.
Right?
No one does at the beginning.
Dude,
to be fair.
Now, this is the thing. These are things I looked at. So I'm looking at, okay, price. Then I said it's a 22-inch wheel. It's going to be a big wheel. It's going to be big, and it's going to be heavy. Think about all the 22-inch wheels out there. They're big wheels. So you're looking at Monster Pro weight-wise, maybe the EX20S weight-wise. So that's another thing that you have to look at. And when they led with the speed, they were talking about safety margins at any speed. Now, they didn't say they were going to have the top end speed. Now, you'll have, let's take roller coasters, for instance, right? Roller coaster will come out and they will say, we have the highest roller coaster in the world. We broke the record. They'll break the record by like 2 feet. You understand what I'm trying to say? So let's just say the top speed is 55. They might have something that goes 56 or 57. Not necessarily that the thing's going to do 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. These are certain things that you have to look at. They didn't say what the battery is going to be. So if you have a motor, the motor is, let me make sure I have it written down, there's a 4,500 watt motor. You're going to have something that's going to be able to push up that, a battery that's going to push the motor, plus all that weight, plus the weight of the rider. So, these are things that have to be looked at, but I think it's going to be a heavy, expensive wheel. And I don't know, we'll see. But as far as 75 miles an hour, me personally, I don't think they're going to have a wheel go 75 miles an hour. I don't.
So, if anyone has any more input that they would like to share, I'm going to share the link. This is literally an open, thing here, dialogue. So definitely click on the link and let's chat about this. Now, you said that you don't feel that but why would they do that? Why would they come out as a company that's known for, just, being trustworthy and stuff like that? Remember, they did say they were going to come out with a wheel that does 40 plus, and they did. The V12 does 40 plus, They didn't back down on that. Why would they say that?
Yeah,
E-Wheels had a wheel that did like 70 miles an hour, didn't they? Not E-Rides.
E-Rides, yeah. But that was one thing that Afiz said, though. It's not a safe wheel to put out.
Well, it's not a safe wheel. What was his reason, though? Because it was a smaller diameter tire.
Smaller diameter tire. But now I might get some flack for saying this. Most riders aren't going to ride that fast. They're not.
Of course.
Who's out there going to push your wheel to 70? Now, you're going to have some that'll do it. But who's really riding that fast? I honestly believe they're going to have a speed limiter on that wheel. I
haven't really paid attention to how many people do what or not. But you're right. For the average rider, it's not going to be 70. But I think what they're doing is, because if you look, I heard a statistic that Inmotion, or was it King Song? One of them is the best-selling wheels, not Gotway.
No, it's not
Uh,
Broadway, right?
which
Might
one
is
was
it
it?
Emotion or King Song? It's either
It's
Emotion or
one of
King
the two.
Song.
I think it
It
was
might be
Inmotion.
Emotion. I think it's Emotion.
Because if you think about it, if it's Inmotion, if that's the number one selling wheel, then you can immediately make the assumption to say that most people who buy these wheels are not speed freaks. You see what I'm saying? You
Right.
understand?
Right.
So
Now,
so it looks, so sorry to cut you off. So
no,
it
that's
looks
fine.
like they're trying, because they've catered to that market all these years. And this particular market is very, look at Black Cobra. He loves his V11.
The V11. Yeah.
And the guy has a Sherman. So what does that tell you? You know, so while we might speed every now and then, the average person, I feel, does not, like you said. But I feel at this point in time, you have Leaperkin, you have KS22 doing over 40. I think they just felt, damn it, let's cater to this market that we've been ignoring all this time, and let's do it in the most amazing way possible.
Right. No, I see what they're doing and I see what they're going at, but I'm also looking at some of the wording that they put, safe at any speeds. And I remember a lot of riders always saying, I don't need to, if the wheel can go 70, that's fine, but I know that I'm only going to do 45 or 50, but I have all that extra leeway so I don't suffer like a cutout or something like that. You understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
I definitely think they're going to have a speed limiter on the wheel. Maybe they might have it set up like a scooter or something where you could have eco mode, sport mode. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But I think to have a wheel that's going to top out at 75 miles an hour, there's going to be a lot of people wrecking that thing, man.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What did we see at the very end of that video when they did okay, first person. Let's see if you were paying attention in class. When we were when we were watching this video, what's the one thing you saw that you would typically never see on another lift? Well, I'm not sure if this was a lift test. But what did you see when? What did you see when?
The speed.
It sustained the speed.
It sustained the speed
before
it cut off.
If I lift up my wheel right now, but then again, I don't know how this test was done. But to me, it really looked as if it sustained that speed. Because if I put my wheel right now, lift it up, and freaking throw that thing forward, as soon as it hits 61 miles per hour, it cuts out.
Right.
And that thing sustained that for quite some time. That tells you something. They have a new technology that we know nothing about.
That could be it. But another thing too is, okay, let's say they have the wheel where, let's just say top speed on it, you can sustain it at 75 miles an hour. Now, that's on a full battery. How much is that going to dip once the battery starts to go down? That's another thing. It might drop drastically. So you might be able to hit 75 miles an hour to, let's say, 85% battery or something like that. And then the numbers are just going to drop down to a regular, I'm just saying, maybe a regular.
EUC Vibes mentioned something. I like watching the video from other people's perspective because they catch things I didn't catch, you know what I mean? Or would never catch. Let's go to a certain part of the video where they actually lifted it, and let's pay attention to the battery, okay, as they're lifting it. So remember when they did the lift test with the Master, we saw that it dropped insanely fast, right? Like the voltage went like it dipped insanely. Anyway, do you know what voltage this wheel is? Is it 126?
I'm not even sure what it is.
Okay. Does anybody know in the chat what voltage this wheel is? Anyone? I'm gonna wait 10 seconds. Well, anyway, just type it in there if you have the answer to that. But let's try to go toward 0, 0. So it looks like it's 123 volts. 92%. The battery is 92%. So you could probably say it's probably around like 126 volts because it's 92%. So what? It's 100? No, it can't be 100 volt. It says it there. It says it's 123 volts. So how can it be 100 volt? Swagga EUC. So it shows 124, but people think it's 126. I think it's more likely that it's 126 because if you look at the percentage, it's 92%. So 8 more percent, and this thing goes up to 126, possibly. I could see that. So anyway, let's look at when they lift it, how fast it drops in voltage. Then we will know if it was held up freely or was it on a surface.
Oh, I got you. I got what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see. I still can't tell. To me, it looks like a freewheel spin. What do you think?
I don't know, man.
What do you guys think in the chat?
I don't know.
That makes a huge difference, man. That makes a huge difference. Yeah, it went down to 86%, but I'm not sure if it was a freewheel spin. Was it? Do you guys feel like it was a freewheel spin? Let me try. Go ahead, talk.
One part of the video they had it hooked up to some machine. Remember? I don't know. I can't remember what part. So if maybe they did it that way again, I don't know. But well, you have to look at how it was filmed too. More than likely, that might have been hooked up to a machine, because think of when you hold your Gotway up or whatever, your EXN, it's at a weird angle. You would be in the way of the shot, so it had to be held up by something. I don't think it was held up by a person doing a free spin.
That's true. Let me let's do a test here. I have my wheel, and because I just came from riding, I charged it to 100%. Okay, so let me turn it on right now. This is my high-speed MSB.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a better angle. There we go.
So, oh my gosh, the light is so bright. This is the high-speed MSB. Okay, so let me do a quick test here. I want to see. You can keep talking while I set this up.
All right, so that's something to keep in mind. One is weight. I think that's very important. If you, again, I just rode the Hero. The Hero was 80 pounds, and that was only a 20-inch wheel. So we're looking at a 22-inch wheel with a big old motor, 4,500 watt motor. Right, that's a big motor, man.
That's a big motor.
yeah, and so like I said before, I'm thinking of Monster Pro weight, maybe EX20 weight. This wheel might weigh at least 100 pounds minimum.
The fact that it's a 22-inch wheel makes you think Monster, right?
Yeah. That's, I don't know, man. 300 Newton meters. It's a lot of torque.
But you've been waiting on Inmotion. So isn't that what you wanted?
I won't. But see, this is the thing, though. I waited to see what they were going to throw out. But I was thinking that if they're going to throw out a suspension wheel, I'm thinking something that would be more manageable.
Oh, do you think there's going to be suspension on this thing? Some people saying there might be. Okay.
I definitely think there's going to be suspension on this wheel.
Okay, let's see.
I think so.
All right, so we got the percentage. Can you guys see? Can you see that? All right. So I'm going to lift my wheel, and we're looking for how fast the percentage drops. Okay, so let me see. Because if it...
And this is your EXN?
This is my high-speed MSB.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do this. It cuts out. So yeah, it looks like they... Let me do it again. Hold on. It looks like they had it under load because mine barely went down. Let's do it. Let me see if I can do it again. Hold on. It looks like they had it under load, dude. Hold on. Let's see. Look at... So you guys are paying attention to the percentage, okay? Pay attention to the percentage. Yeah, they had it under load. They had it under load, dude. That's crazy. That was under load, dude. Whoa.
Under load, okay.
How much load? I don't know, but that was under load. Wow. So you're right. They had it on that machine. They
Yeah,
had
have
it
you
on
hooked
that
up?
machine.
Have you hooked up to something?
Holy
See, my
smokes, that says a
my
lot.
thing is too, for a wheel. After riding the Hero, I really don't want anything heavier than 80 pounds, man. I mean, it gets to the point where if it's one thing if you're coming out of your house and you're jumping on a wheel to ride it, but like I want something that I can take and put on a train and go into New York City and ride, commute back and forth to work, put it on the bus. Like right now, I'm taking my Tesla every day, pop the thing right on the bus, down the escalator, and I'm off, flying across New York.
So
Anyway,
let
dude,
me,
I hit 30. Dude, I hit 34 miles an hour on that freaking Tesla the other day, dude.
30,
Not safe.
34.
I did, dude. I hit.
Did you feel
Yeah,
any dip? Any dip at all?
I didn't feel nothing, dude. That's just dangerous, man.
What?
Yeah, I didn't feel anything. I got to work and I said, I looked at my top speed, said 34. I was like, what?
And that's
Yeah,
EUC World? That's EUC World?
yeah, dude.
Wow.
Unless it was off. Yeah. So I was like, wow. Don't.
Did you jump
yeah,
at
don't,
some point? Did you jump at some point?
Nah, I was dodging every pothole, man. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
34. I mean, I've hit 33 on my last one. There was no dip. Maybe 30. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see that. Yeah.
Like I said, unless it was reading wrong, but I saw 34. I was like, yeah, that's not too smart on my end. But that again, that's my thing. Like I
can be an advocate. I can be an advocate and say, sure, you want a wheel. You, Sensei Vegan, you and people like you want a wheel that you can take to the train. You want portability, you want some range, and you want good speed. And I'll say to you, as an InMotion lover, you have the V12 for that.
Right. But there's no suspension on the V12.
Who says there's suspension on the Challenger?
I believe there is. I believe there is. I'm batting 1,000 right now as far as my so yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm going off what was who was when they said like the wheel coming out, they would go with the non-suspension first, and then they would come out with a suspension wheel. I can't remember who was being interviewed when they were talking about that, but yeah.
You know, the way I look at it is you have Librkim, who, well, I wouldn't say Librkim set the stage, but they kind of set the stage because the Monster was in its own category. You had Librkim that set the stage for, you know, a wheel that had a small profile with crazy range and crazy speed and amazing quality. Holy smokes. Let's give it to, I need to get
dude,
one of
I
those
still
buttons
think,
that
100%, I still think the Sherman, to me, is still the sweet spot of the wheels. It's the sweet spot, man.
They set the stage, right? Then, after Librkim, you had, what else did you have? You had the Commander, which we don't hear much about. We don't hear much about the Commander. But then you had the Commander, which is technically Galway. Then, now put those two aside, you have the EX20S with suspension, long range, and I'm not sure what the top speed is. So crazy comfort. Do you think that InMotion is trying to be in that space? You see what I'm saying? Because they're not.
See, that's what I was thinking. It seems like they're trying to jump up there with the, as Cobra would say, the big boy wheels, the EX20S and the Monster Pro. Now, I'm just going off of the tire. So if you go off the tire alone, you think Monster. If you go off the motor, 4,500 watt motor, that's going to be a heavy motor.
Is it 45? It's
4,500 watts.
4,500 watts, yes. 10,000 peak.
Then think of the batteries that go with it. So I'm thinking that wheel is going to.
This guy makes a very good point. Duck Blur EUC Academy. And you have to believe him because he's in an academy, an EUC academy at that. He said 21-inch tire with he probably meant to say will not need a shock. Because look, if you look at the Monster, I rode the Monster in New York just for a little bit. And dude, I didn't feel I needed shock. What do you need shock for? I mean, for the most part, it's a
that's what most people say.
Yeah.
That's what most people say when they ride the Monster.
You really don't need shock. I mean, the tire itself absorbs. I mean, the surface area is so huge that, you know, unless you go into like some massive pothole, which you wouldn't anyway, the thing feels amazingly like comfortable. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wish Ronan wasn't here because he has like.
Well, dude, dude, this is my thought too. Somebody's riding that wheel. I don't care who it is. Somebody's out there that riding it. They're just not saying anything. There's some channels out there riding.
You're saying that they already have testers.
No, dude, come on. You know for a fact that they have testers out there riding this thing already,
absolutely, bro. Man.
You know they're riding this thing already. They've been riding it.
At threat of losing their jobs, they probably told them, "Don't you post that on?
Don't post a thing."
YouTube
dude, I'm sorry for squirming around. This thing, I'm trying to get my angle right.
No, dude, it makes it active. Makes it active, you know.
But interactive background. But no, someone's riding this wheel. We're gonna know within the next few weeks what's going down. But I do believe it's a suspension wheel. I do. So I could be 100% wrong, but
against the grain, X says so. That's a built-in display. Well, if you look at it, it's very similar to the V12. The display.
It looks almost exactly like the V12. That display and everything does.
Yeah. So let's take a break to read through this to see if we could see if people have any questions or comments. I didn't want to go back and forth while we were talking. Let's just go through this a little bit and see. I think what we should possibly do is go to do another live at some point and see if we could address some of these questions because it's really hard to keep up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's smart.
If it works out like that, then next time that's what we'll end up doing.
Yeah, but let's see. Have to do everything in one shot.
Yeah. So OmniWheel says, let me go back up, see if there's any. Man, you guys type a lot. This is intense. All right, let's go all the way back. So in the beginning, Lee Davis said, "Poor Liperkim being left behind." What do you think about that? Like, I don't think Liperkim is being left behind.
I think Liperkim, they're in their lab making some mad concoction too. They're not going to go down without a fight. I think they're definitely making
their first round was terrible. Their first round was gret. The second round,
they got knocked out.
What the freak was that, man?
They needed a standing 8 count. Second round. Yeah, dude.
They had the wrong designation for it. They said it was an off-roading wheel. It's definitely not an off-roading wheel.
Nah, dude.
There are people that like it, though. There are people that like it. Let's not, but I'm just
when it works. When it's working, it's a great wheel.
So a lot of people out here say, "Why do you compare wheels? Why do you say this one is great, this one is not?" Just ride your wheel as it is, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just it keeps them on their toes. I think if we
dude, it's like the car industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ford versus Chevy. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. The Corvette versus the Camaro. Which is better? What's better, Corvette or Mustang? It's just the nature.
Yeah, it's just the nature of industry, of capitalism, that in order to make something better, you have to have something else to challenge what
you need. Competition. Better.
You need competition. That's just the way it works. If we had never said anything about any wheel and said every wheel is freaking great, nothing's wrong, even if something's wrong, I mean, how would they get better? You know what I mean? So
exactly. Yeah.
Feedback is important. So let's see. And we got a response to E. Simon says, "My Shermie he's very integrated with his Sherman." He said, "My Shermie is never left behind."
I agree with that one, man.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And so does Spartacus. True that, E. Simon. Spartacus. Are you not entertained? Oh, that's not the song. Anyway, this one says, Holy Troller, I got a max on order, but I might cancel if you remember when they had the same concept during the master. Oh, I have this on order. I'm gonna, but I'll tell you what, a lot of things happen during the development of these wheels. Look at what happened with the KS20. Who was expecting a fire? Nobody was expecting a fire. Not a single person. I'm telling you, man. What? It's freaking King Song. What? No fire was expected, but it happened in glorious fashion.
Yeah.
And you know what's worse?
Dude, that Challenger, when that thing comes in New York, that's going to be that's going to be a demo day of all demo days. Because they don't play when they come to New York. Dude.
This would probably be the first demo day where we see fights.
Dude, I'm not even going to ride. I might rent like 5 cameras and just get all footage because that day has gone down in history books, man.
Like, It's my turn. It's my turn.
I know, right? I'm calling Michael Bay for that day, man, because I tell you what, that's going to be a demo day there, man.
Dude, just when I thought the Master literally set the stage and the KS20 set the stage for hype, freaking they come out with this.
Yep.
What the freak, dude. And we don't even see what it looks like. Yeah, they have renderings on YouTube that you could see, but we don't even know what it looks like yet.
Dude, they had a speedometer and a freaking dart. and you see two lights, man. Doesn't get any better than that, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Franklin Brown says, who else is taking this puppy on the highway? Dude, look, here's the thing. I think someone else said, let me see if I can see it. I don't see it yet, but someone else had a comment that said, listen, they will get this thing if they do it right, if it comes correct. And the only reason, it's funny because King Song, and I was just going to say that if it wasn't for the fire, no one would be scrutinizing King Song's issues as they are today.
Right.
Because of the fire, now that gives you a reason to scrutinize almost every creak, every sound, everything you hear because of that, freaking loss of trust in a company that was supposed to be very listen, they are human beings. It's cool. I get it. I'm not beating the horse while it's dead. I'm just saying no one thought of a fire with King Song. Like it just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying King Song wheels never burned. Of course they've burned. I know a friend, not a friend, but I know someone who, on his first order of the King Song, the thing burned. Not the whole thing, just the board. The board burned.
Gotcha.
But that's because he was literally, what was he doing? He was doing jumps, like, those pump tracks. So he was like doing a lot of pendulums and stuff like that. And I guess it just was too much for him. It just burned it out. But not the wheel, just the board, So these things happen, but it didn't happen to the point where it was like a Gotway type fire where, it just engulfs the entire wheel, which also I'm sure happened, but I don't see a lot of. But no one was expecting that from King Song. And when it happened, that just opened up the gates to scrutinize King Song. And now Inmotion is having the same type of scrutiny, because with the V11, you had the motor issue. With the V12, you had the board issue. And it's constant. I mean, to the point where they got to tell people who just bought these wheels for thousands of dollars, lift up your wheel, knock it forward, backwards, and if it dies, you got a good one.
Dude, I know, dude. That was awful.
That was awful. That was
awful.
But now it seems like we have no safe company. Besides Librachem, which didn't claim that, they seem to be the one so far that, because they had, so we can't really say Librachem 2 because they had cutout issue with the what is that wheel? With the Abrams. Right. So I guess it goes to show, when you start entering the performance arena, expect issues.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'm looking at too. This is there's no production model out yet, so again, they can say how fast this thing goes, but is that going to be the final speed on a production model? I think they're going.
I think it is. That's a very good point you're making. That's a very good point, because they could easily spin it and say, listen, we are a safety company. What we wanted to do was introduce a motor that's capable of doing 80 miles an hour, but due to safety issues, we would have to reduce the power down to a, very, safe speed, but at least that, the buffer is there, whatever. They do it on a lot of cars. A lot of cars have speed limiters on them. Car, like take Audi, even some BMWs, these higher end cars, they'll limit it to 155 miles an hour. Even car can probably do 180 to 200 miles an hour. They limit it down. Even though the gauge says that, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the answer is, if it actually can do that speed, yes, of course I'll take it on the highway when no one's watching.
Dude, I'll stick to the no highway for me.
No highway. No, I'm just playing. Do not go on the highway, guys.
Yeah,
no. People do it. Look, there are places you can do it, like New York.
Because you have some roads, they say highway, and it's really not like a highway. That makes any sense. Yeah,
it makes sense. Like, where I live, there's a lot of freeways that looks like highways or routes,
Exactly.
routes that look like So
Yeah. And I always say you have to take a quick dip out on something like that. Yeah. But I'm talking like a 4-lane highway where cars are shooting by 80 miles an hour with tractor trailers and all that type of stuff. That's something you don't want to get caught out on. Think about it. A tractor trailer go past you and you're in your car,
oh
you can feel
gosh,
yourself
yeah,
shaking back and forth. Yeah.
No, I think that would be the wrong direction to go. I think we should stay off of highways. That's just what I think, because I feel in a car, a highway is the safest place to be. Because you're just going straight, and when you want to turn left, you turn left. When you want to turn right, you turn right. You know, it's very safe. But dude, these cars are driving pretty fast. You know, you make one error and you're dead. Just say your prayers that day and be prepared to die. Because
dude, I just drove back from Pittsburgh and I saw people doing some of the stupidest stuff on highways, flying, and I'm just like, and I'm thinking the whole time, if I had my EUC, what would I do? You know what I mean? If I'm out here, there's nothing you can do, man. You're just bait. That's it. You're just bait out there, man.
Spartacus says there won't be any V13 until 223. Someone else said 225. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know, man. This is I don't know. I do think this is a suspension wheel. They already have the V12. I don't think they're going to come out with 2 non-suspension wheels back to back. I don't anyway. I could be 100% wrong, but I think this is a suspension wheel. And that was going off of I remember MadPack put a video out in January talking about that. Was called the V13, but again, names always change. So
Challenger.
We'll see though.
So it's 2 wheels coming out. It looks like the V13 and the Challenger.
I don't know, dude. Maybe they could have a suspension version and non-suspension version. I don't know.
E. Simon says, hope Inmotion can nail this one. A 70 mile per hour cutout would be interesting. Oh my gosh. Like, dude, imagine a cutout at 70 miles per hour. I don't want to
think about it. It wouldn't be bad if you hit and you slid, but if you hit and you slid and you hit something, that's the problem.
That's
whatever you.
But then I don't know, man. It's really interesting because we said that at 30 miles an hour, and then we went to 40, and we said that at 40, and then it's
like the motorcycles, though. If you look at the motorcycle riders, they'll crash doing 100 miles an hour. And you ever see them slide across the track and get up and pick the bike up? But if they hit something, that's the problem.
Yeah, impact.
Yeah.
88 miles per hour is insane, says Bunny Slippers.
That's Back to the Future speed, Bunny.
I know. Damn, Spartacus, too hot to ride for me right now. Okay, I guess they're talking about something else. This one says, Steve-O, I bet Inmotion sets the firmware tilt back to, oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, dude, I believe it. I think they're going to set that to tilt back 55, maybe 60, and all the rest would be like leeway. That way you're not going to cut the wheel out.
I think if there's one company that's going to create a wheel that does not cut out, it's going to be Inmotion. That's just my feeling, because they have the ability to do that. Kingsong can do it too, but I just don't like the way they went down in flames.
Because they said it's safe at any speed. Safe at any speed. They said it a few times in there, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and he put the word promising in there. Why would he say? Why would he say that unless, like you said, they tested it already? They probably tested this already.
Dude, they're riding that darn wheel. Send one to us.
I know, right? Send it. We'll test it.
Yeah,
Inmotion. If you're watching, which most likely you're not.
I'll be one of you. I'll be the low speed rider, and you be the high speed rider.
I know. Yeah. Let's see who else has anything to say. That's interesting. I'm wondering how they're going to keep it from overheating. With Inmotion, I'm not worried about that stuff. Stuff like overheating and or cooling, I'm not really concerned about that with Inmotion. Did you hear? Has anyone heard of any issues with overheating with the V11 or V12? I mean, no. I haven't heard it.
Probably have a big old heat sink in the size of a big old frying pan.
Sink, yeah. Oh, they want to go out and ride. Interesting. Yustra, would you? So someone asked me a question. Swagga UC. Yustra, would you push it to 75 miles an hour on the prototype? Yeah, I would. On the prototype. Not 75, 60. I would try 60. Definitely not 75. But definitely 60. Because 60 is close to 50.
Yeah, it's not.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. But 60 is close to 50. I feel once you hit 70, that's no man's land. So But I would do it. I would absolutely do it. And I have the perfect road to do it too. Straight at night or early morning when there's no one around.
Right.
Because the thing is, in my testing, okay, when I test wheels, I test them knowing that there's a 5 to 10 miles an hour buffer. Okay, I don't test wheels if I don't know what the buffer is. You know, like I wouldn't test the KS20 at 47 miles an hour, even though I've heard people like Sean in New York, he said he was able to push it to 47 miles an hour. And when he said that, I was like, wow, really? You're able to do that? I wouldn't do that on a Kingsong because I don't have that much experience with Kingsong. But with Gotway, I know that they're able, they post the speed and then you know there's like an extra like 5-10 miles buffer. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I will test that. With Inmotion, in my experience with the V5F, and I mean, it's only like a couple $1,000s. I would really like to get a V12 or something, or test it or something. But I wouldn't even push that one either. Because I know the top speed is like what, 44 or 45 or something like that. So I wouldn't go beyond that. I wouldn't want, but I did find something on EUC World that will help. And I'm gonna try making a video on that where it's called the safety margin. Okay, so the safe and I went riding one night and I shared the live with you guys, the link, so you could see me ride. You don't see me, you see the EUC World stats live. So you can actually ride your wheel, open up the EUC World app and watch the safety margin chart live.
See, I never know what that was for.
Yeah.
So I've seen it on. I didn't know how to use it.
I didn't know what it was for either until Ronan told me about it. So basically, when I hit 48 on my high-speed MSP, and I told that to the guys in New York, they were going nuts. They're like, "You're in the edge. You're gonna, dude. You were playing with fire and all that. Woo!" And I'm like, "Okay, woo. You're right." But then Ronan was like, "Hey, open up your app and look at the safety margin chart." So I opened up the not the app. I went to EUCWorld.com, EUC.world. And I saw the safety margin chart, and I saw that at 48 miles an hour, even though I wasn't pushing it hard, meaning I wasn't torquing, I was just gradually going to 48, the safety margin has 3 colors: green, yellow, red. And mine dipped from green to yellow to red at 48.
Okay.
So that tells you your safety of margin is very low at that speed, which means
at that speed, right,
you could cut out at that speed if anything happens. So what I'm saying is, while that chart is freaking amazing, what's more amazing about it, you can watch it live. So you can actually see live while you're riding if you're safe, how much safety margin you have to push that wheel further. So that is a freaking game changer for me testing wheels, because now I can actually see how much I'm pushing the wheel and how close to the edge I'm pushing it.
After watching all this stuff, like I said, okay, I see what Inmotion is going to do. I came close to getting the Nick AR again. I'm like, because you figure, look what month we're in. We're almost toward the end of summer. You figure we're going into what, August? So that wheel's not going to be ready. And I would never buy a first batch wheel anyway.
Oh gosh.
So you're looking at you're looking at 2023. So you're looking either at the spring of 2023 or the summer of 2023 if you would even get like a second batch of those wheels or something like that. So,
but you know what? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's still. I believe it's still going to be a little bit of time before, those wheels are going to come out. If that makes any sense. Or you can get your hands on one, especially with the way, supply chains and things, everything seems to be shortened anyway.
So what I'm realizing is with the first batch wheel, and I'm probably having a second thought on that, with first batch wheels, what I'm realizing is a lot of people, and there's a good market for first batch wheels though. That's what I'm realizing. So there was a guy online who sold his, I don't know who he was, I forgot, but he sold his Master after I guess he bought it. He sold it quick.
Dude, there's quite a few people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a market for first batch wheels. So even if you feel, okay, I really don't trust this first batch wheel, you can sell it at least. You know what I mean?
Now,
provided you didn't beat it up or anything like that, you can sell it pretty fast.
I'll say this. I think one wheel that's going to see a lot of are like first batch heroes. I'm talking the torque version. I think if you hear anything else about the hero, everyone talks how great the quality, the ride's great. Most of the people talking about the torque is saying that the darn, it's just not fast enough. I mean,
Which one, the
you're
high
getting
speed
beats at like,
the
not
high
the high
speed,
speed, the
torque,
torque. No, the torque. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
fast enough, dude.
Well, I
you're
mean,
getting beat.
Look, man, there was a guy I saw on Facebook Marketplace. He was selling his torque version hero for $3,000. I believe it was $3,300, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like $3,300.
Who's gonna pay $3,000 for that?
Some people have money, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can get a brand new one cheaper. Right? You can get a brand new one cheaper, dude.
They're funny. Maybe availability? I don't know.
Maybe, but I'm like, no, I wouldn't pay. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not paying the $3,000. That's what you're paying brand new. I'll give you maybe $2,800, $2,700 for it.
I couldn't believe it, man. But what I'm saying is that there's a market out there. I mean, look at French USA. I was looking at his video, and he bought the Clark pads seat, and he bought.
He got the seat. Yep.
Yeah.
He got all the trimmings.
Everything. Now, at the end of the day, that wheel is pretty much a $4,000 wheel after you.
It is. Once you put all that stuff into it, you figure just for the bumpers, that's like what, $299. You must say $300. I'm not sure what they're charging for the seat. Plus the pads too, the actual power pads, those are separate. So you're looking at about $200, maybe about $600 on additional pads to put on that thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's a $2,000 wheel.
Swaga EUC, I appreciate it, man. Absolutely. Hey, it's always my pleasure. Like I said, I didn't expect this wheel to do what it did. Okay, it just did it because of how I ride. I'm sorry, you guys. And I created a video after that showing what I do with Gotway wheels because some people are like, "Why do you ride the wheel like that?" Dude, I ride the wheel like that. That's how I ride the wheel. But because the city is very unpredictable. You know, it's just an unpredictable place, and you need to, for me at least, you need to be able to brake, accelerate. You know, you just need to be able to do that without any worries. He said, thanks for getting us better batteries for the S22, by the way.
Oh, yeah, dude. They need to send you something. I'm talking about the company.
They won't because I didn't bring good publicity, you know, which is why, and this is a shameless plug. So I just, and I was just saying this, I just got the ability to do membership on my channel. So membership and join and all that stuff. YouTube just sent me like, hey, you got enough subscribers now where you could actually allow people to join and stuff like that and be members. And if you guys notice, the last video that I made in New York with the race, I read all of your comments, and a lot of people were unhappy with the video because, you know, I cut out the part where something may have or may not have happened. And you know, they're like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to hide how bad you are? And I'm like, no, I mean, I can show how bad I am. It's just, you know, a lot of people got to me and said, listen, don't put this out there because it's going to be bad for the community and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, this stuff happens every day on bikes. I mean, I don't see the difference. They're just going to call it. They're going to call us out regardless. But the point is, what I did was I ended up
on bikes, man.
You know, like this happens all the time. But anyway, I'm not trying to compare myself to them. I'm just saying.
No, but I understand.
Yeah. So I did put it out there. I did create a site. I created a separate site where you can actually watch it. And if you want to watch it, great, because that will help me because I can't get wheels anymore. I've contacted several companies, from Alien Rides to eWheels to, you know, a UCO, and I can't get them to send me a wheel. It's possible because I'm not as active. That's what I'm thinking. I'm probably not as active on YouTube, but I can't get wheels to review. So I figure I have to be a little bit creative, you know, in figuring out how to get money to get wheels to review. So if you guys want to help, this would be a good way to help is by purchasing this video. I know one guy earlier today, he was like, we have to pay for this? You're making me pay for this? I'm like, you don't have to do anything, but if you pay for it, it's going to help me with the future. He said, what's your subscriber number? So the reason I hid my subscriber count is because I didn't want that to be a focus for me, because this YouTube for me is a hobby. I don't really, I would like to take it seriously, but I have a family, I have a real job, and I really have to. And sometimes, guys, I go to bed at freaking 1 a.m. and get up really early for work and expect it to perform great, because it's addicting to edit. You know what I mean? Oh, I gotta do this. And my lady's like, go to sleep, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, and I'm still.
I do the same thing, dude. Once I start, I told you I can't. I've been working on this video for the last 2 days. I said I'm just not feeling well. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. So he said what is my subscriber count? So my subscriber count right now is like, I don't know, what is it? It's like,
I think YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to make it so people can't hide their subscriber count anymore. I think that's what they were talking about.
Why? Why do they want
I don't know.
My subscriber count is 5,677, and it could have been more because I'm not as active, but it's 5,677. I've been paying attention to Zen Lee, and he passed me a little. I think he passed me, but he is very active. Like, that's an active guy. Like, he and Chooch, active. And I'm not talking about reviews. These guys are just writing. They're just constantly writing. And so I got to get back on that, dude. I got to get back on writing. And I did today. I went off-roading, because I want to go to that rally event. But yeah, so okay. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, I'll put that little video up, more of like an event page. But New York Summer Streets is coming August 6th and August 13th. And what they do, they shut down Park Avenue on both sides, from like 67th or 70th Street all the way down to the Brooklyn Bridge from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay.
It's actually a lot of fun. I didn't see that many EUC guys out there last year. I think they found out too late. I think one of the only ones, I didn't actually see him, I saw his video, was Adam Yu. Adam Yu was there. So hopefully we can all kind of plan out.
Lucifer. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I don't mind coming back to New York. EUC with Lucifer says, send that second one back after replacing the control board again. Goodness gracious. Turns out it had defective cells in one battery pack.
You talking about the V11?
What wheel was that, EUC Lucifer? Was that the
Might have been his V11, because I know I watched one of his videos that he was just at the curb and pulled up and the darn thing just cut out.
Oh, really? Holy smokes.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, man.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to have, this is a lot of text. I'm going to have to try to do this in another video. Let me see. There was something else somebody has said. There we go. So Splash 6 says, what do you guys think launching August 11th really means for the V13? August 11th? Is that what they said? This is launching August 7th? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. They say launch. I mean, that can just still be.
That could mean
that it's. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's readily available, though.
It could mean that they're sending it out to test. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's about, yeah.
But there's something I wanted to show you guys, though. Let me open up this video here. Which one is this? Let me see. Is this the one? Okay. There's something I want to show. So when it was on the rig, you're going to see pretty much what. So, another thing I forgot to mention. This right here, Sensei.
The gauge
wires
wire?
Yes.
They use a thicker gauge wire. I think they use an 8 gauge wire. And the other ones are using like an 11 or something like that.
Yeah. So you can tell they're serious about that power. They're not playing around. I mean, this is this is not a real picture of the gauge. This is just a 3D rendering. But you can tell that they're pretty serious.
Oh, they would definitely need that thicker gauge wire. If they didn't use it, that stuff with the thinner gauge would melt.
Yeah. So this is what tells me that it's going to be the speed they mentioned. Let me see. Where is it? Where it was on the rig. Because you get to see what the wheel actually looks like.
That's another thing too about the speed. Now it might top out at that, right? But I'm thinking because the wheel is using, higher, thicker gauge wire and all this other technology, you could ride that wheel at 48, 50 miles an hour with no problem. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So you might be able to sustain a higher speed, maybe not the top end speed, but you could ride this thing at 52 miles an hour, 50 with no problem. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, man.
Well, yeah, because when you do that, you're requesting a lot of power. Power translates into heat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, there we go. So, all right. Let me just go a little right there. Okay, so you're looking at the wheel right now. So basically, they took off the shell and they took off the battery packs. Or, so if you look right here, right here, this is the handle, like the metal protection, whatever. This is it.
That's the wheel.
You see it? This is actually a metal rail, back and front. So it looks like they have a metal rail protective thing that goes from here all the way back, protruding out of the back, and then comes to the top and back to the front. And they have two, and then they have one metal piece going across. Mm-hmm. That's actually the frame of the wheel. This is it right here. Now, my guess is this box right here, it looks like it might be part of the rig and not the wheel. I'm not sure.
That might be the suspension, baby. That might be. That's the.
It might be. It might be. It might be. It might be, because look, you have a metal piece coming down right here, which could be the shock, the strut or whatever they call it. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But maybe it's not, because if you look, this part looks welded.
It's small on my phone. I can't.
Oh, really? Let me.
Yeah, I'm straining my eyes. I'm gonna give myself a headache.
I can't zoom in.
No, don't worry about it, dude. I'll go back and check the video out.
But you know what? I can zoom in. If I share the page, I can zoom in. So
don't drive yourself crazy, bro.
Let me see. Yeah, you're right. All right. So let me just bring this back. So what do you guys think? I mean, that looks like the wheel, dude. We're looking at the wheel right here. They're not testing the motor by itself. This is the top part of the wheel. So this is where the control board is going to be, and everything else, fan, heat sink, or whatever. This is the protective rail right here. Two of them. And this is the metal piece connecting them together, which is similar to my, it's similar to the Sherman for sure. And this part look like it's part of the rig. So I can't say that's part of the suspension, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that wheel's done already, dude. That wheel's done.
I think they're done. They're finished. They're just teasing us, just giving us some little tease.
Dude, I guarantee you, they were working on that wheel when they were working on the V12.
Probably, and isn't that how it is, really?
Yeah, so they might have been working on it before they were working on the V12. Yeah, it worked. Those wheels. This wheel's been in development for a while now.
Let me see what this person says. Let me take this off. Kurt Flirt. Nah, don't think it has to do with being active. George, before he got the Hero from Alien Rides, wasn't that much active. I see. I think it depends on the type of wheels you have. But I have Gotways. Maybe that disqualifies me.
Well, maybe not, dude. I mean, the bottom line is you can ride. And you can ride any wheel. And I think with you in reviews, you'll take and bring out some stuff that other riders are. Like, you're going to definitely review a wheel completely different than I would review a wheel.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But anyway, he said, that's surprising. You have quality content. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll keep trying. I mean, worst case, because the thing is this, right? I'm slowly, if I don't get wheels to review, I'm going to end up being what I hate absolutely, which is someone reviewing wheels from afar. You know what I mean? Like virtually. How you can't really give top quality feedback on the wheel just by talking about its specs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or talking about other people's experience. You need to have it, dude. You need to have the wheel in order to
Well, the
test.
good thing is too, you have good connections. Like you can, with Ronan and Sean and EVX and stuff, so you can always come down. Cobra, you can always review. That way too.
The problem is if it's their wheel, if it's their personal wheel, I don't want to test it because it's their personal wheel. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, no, I'm talking about because they usually the wheels get passed down through a circuit. It goes here, it goes there.
Yeah.
So.
Jay Smith, sad to say that my S22 suddenly bricked at less than 300 kilometers. These first bat wheels deserve their reputation for sure. What?
It broke already?
Your wheel broke at 300 kilometers, dude? What the freak?
That's just awful.
Damn.
That's awful, dude. Yeah,
I did see a guy from Japan. There was a guy from Japan saying the same thing. Go ahead. Let me see.
Nah, it just sucks, dude. You're paying all that money. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like a $1,500 wheel. It's a $3,000 wheel and it's breaking that quick. It's not fair, man.
Yeah, it's not fair, dude. That's crazy. KS22 problems. I made a playlist just for that. Let me know if you can see this, okay? Hold on. We're going to watch this real quick. And the reason we're transitioning real quick to to Kingsong right now is because these companies are pretty much similar. So if you see problems on one, you can kind of, depending on how they respond, you can kind of, someone tried to pop in, but their camera wasn't working. You can kind of expect another company to react similar, because they're pretty much the same. So if Kingsong addresses their issue, the way they did, which I felt the way they responded was top notch. I felt the way how quick they reacted to the problem was awesome. They made a video. They addressed the problem on paper. What I feel they didn't do was actually address the problem, how it's supposed to be addressed. Like they didn't actually test how it's supposed to be tested. But the point is they actually went through the process of looking like they did. I don't know. But, Gotway doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Gotway just doesn't do that. They just create a brand new wheel. Let's say, forget the other one. Let's get this one. You know what I mean? And
Gotway has their way of, they have a mass amount of parts and they start Frankenstein stuff together, man. In fact, dude, you'll see the C30, C38 motor in a lot of their wheels. They'll grab a board. They just have a big warehouse full of parts and whatever looks good, it's fast. Let's put it together and let's go, man. Yeah.
So this guy right here, let me see if I can share his screen. So again, the reason I'm sharing this is to show just to show the reputation of first batch wheels. That's the only reason I'm showing this, not to put any bad shade on Kingsong. Okay. So window, share system audio, window, actually tab, Kingsong S22. There we go. So, okay, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear it though?
こんにちは。早速 S22 を手に入れたのですが、
Yeah, I hear it.
これが摘出しています。
So, where is?
どのような問題があるか、
I thought it had
一緒に見てい
caption.
くことにしましょ
Oh,
う。
there we go. So it's a short video. I'm gonna put the caption so you guys can see. Hello, I got it.
S22 を手に入れたのですが、問題が摘出しています。どのような問題があるか、一緒に見ていくことにしましょ
Dang, it's 8 o'clock already.
Yeah, I can't believe it. We're gonna end it a little bit.
I didn't realize it was that late.
う。まず、アプリが
First, the app doesn't recognize the
していないの
S22.
で、車体とアプリケーションを接続することができないのです。他のキングソングの車両、例えば S18 のような車両は問題なくアプリケーションと接続することができます。
It's not recognizing the wheel. But he said he had no issues with the S18 and other Kingsong wheels.
Wow.
アプリと接続することができないため、車体ロックを解除することができません。
So he can't unlock the vehicle because he can't connect to the app.
Oh, that just sucks.
また
That sucks.
こちらは S22 専用の充電器ですが、使用数時間で壊れ
So
てしまいま
his
した。
charger broke after a few hours.
また、車体の電源を消したにもかかわらず、ビープ音が鳴りやみません。
It keeps beeping even after the power is off.
Wow.
仕方がないので、バッテリーの
So
コ
he
ー
had
ドを
to
抜いて
unplug
対
the
処してきまし
battery
た。
in order to get rid of that sound.
今回も前途多難のようです。それではまた。
So he said, thanks for watching. It seems like there's going to be lots of problems ahead.
Oh no, dude.
Oh,
That's
man.
the worst, man. That's the
That's the
worst.
That's a lot of money to be playing around with, dude. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, people get on Godway, and one thing I said, man, that day I got whacked, my Tesla flew by me. It rolled about 10 times. I think it was about 10 feet up in the air or more. And I'm watching it fly past me, and I was able to pick that wheel up and turn it on. It balanced and everything, dude. So
Yeah, I beat up my Tesla a lot, and that thing still runs.
yeah.
Yeah. So let me look at some more of your texts, your comments, and then we'll call it a night.
Night.
There's so
Night,
many.
night.
There's so many. Man, I
That's a
really
good
think
thing.
we should. Yeah, I think we should create a separate video just to answer these questions. You know what I mean?
Question
and
time.
just yeah, Q&A. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many, and sometimes I feel like I just can't get to them all. V13 was renamed to the Challenger. Is that so?
I'm believing that too, man. I
Interesting.
figure let's see if they can do with the S20 to the S22. They can do the V13.
I know. EUC with Lucifer says, meanwhile, brand trust in Inmotion products is at an all-time low. So sad because these guys were known for trust. Everybody trusted them, man. But that's what happens when you go into a new territory that you're not really familiar with. You know what I mean? Like when they said the V12 was going to do 44 miles an hour, I held my breath because I knew that they could do it, but at the same time, how much testing was done? Like we've seen videos of the Kingsong being tested off-roading up hills, being thrown down hills. We've seen the Gotway being tested like that. We saw the Sherman being tested like that. I don't really see, Inmotion being tested like that. Doesn't mean that it's not. It's just I don't see it.
Right. You don't see it.
So I have a feeling, a lot of these issues could have been figured out in real world testing. You don't see much board issues with Inmotion with Kingsong Gotway.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not sure what's up with this Kingsong KS22. I hope it doesn't go as bad. Because first batch, you're gonna have issues. That's normal.
That's just how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really bad batch. Lucifer, you had a bad batch. Yep. This person says, usually lots of people had a bad batch.
Well, my buddy he has had any problems out of his V11, and he rocks that thing all over the place. He has that in the Sherman and the V10F, and he rides that his V11 probably more than he rides a Sherman.
Yeah, the V11 was a good wheel, dude. To be honest, it was actually a good wheel. And I'm gonna end with this statement from a guy on Electric Unicycle Forum. I think he makes a lot of good sense. He says, definitely this is the way to go. It's impossible to make a wheel variant suitable for every need. A modular design would be much better. Everybody can choose battery configuration for their weight, price, range needs. Tire, suspension, and pad needs are also personal and could be chosen by the user. I get the feeling that there are quite a few people reacting with a sense that they are going too far with the motor. They're talking about the Challenger here.
Right. I mean, that's a whole lot of motor, dude.
It's a whole lot of motor. Plus, it's heavy.
A whole lot of motor.
He says, I do agree. For me, these wheels are still something that are comparable to e-bikes and ridden on bike paths. 50 kilometers per hour is already enough for me, and everything beyond that is wasted for him. However, I do think there are much more good things in the motor video than just speed. I guess this wheel is there to make Inmotion known for performance, as we were saying. I do think they know the market is limited. It will be expensive, but will still sell well because there are so many people who just want biggest and best, no matter if they need them or not. It's an American market. They are used to buying big trucks for daily usage also.
Dude, that's true, man. Big old Ford F-150 to go get some groceries, man.
Yo, that's cool. My dream wheel has not been made yet, but all the components have already been made. That's a very good statement. Let me read that again. My dream wheel has not been made yet, but all components have already been made. Nobody just hasn't put them all in one wheel. For example, battery, 2,400 to 3,200 watt hours, done by Bigot and Veteran. Tire, 18x3, done by most wheels. Suspension, done in many versions. They're all good enough. Speed, 50 kilometers per hour, done in many wheels. Reliability, done in some wheels. Comfort, done in many narrow wheels. Good light, V11 has nailed it. I think the KS22 nailed it too. With the light.
The light's good. I think the light just needs to be a little more durable, the lighting.
Yeah, but it's bright. It's pretty bright.
It's bright. Heck yeah, that thing's bright.
Yeah. Big pedals, most are fine already. Seated riding, many wheels offer good options. Now, just upgrade. So this is his conclusion here. Just upgrade the V11 with bigger battery, better reliability, and maybe up the voltage for those who want it. Suspension could be upgraded also. That's it. That's the wheel I want. V13 will be awesome for some specific use cases, but will also have too many compromises for most use cases. It will compete with the monster Abrams EX20S. For V11, 18XL, MSP, Sherman, and S22 riders, it will feel too heavy and too expensive. To upgrade from these to V13 will lose many benefits from the smaller wheels just to have potential.
That's what I was saying at the beginning, dude.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Think about this. When we went down and we were looking at the Hero, rode the Hero, right?
Yeah.
How many people say they get on the wheel and they're like, man, the wheel is heavy? How many times did we hear that? I heard that a lot.
Because it was unexpected. Because you're hearing 1,800 watt hours. Yes, it has suspension, but you're like, damn, this thing is insanely heavy.
It's 80 pounds. The thing weighs more than the Sherman.
Well, yeah.
So and then it had the knobby on it. So if you're not used to riding something that heavy with that crap ball tire on it, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be a fun experience.
That's a very good point you just made. It's heavier than the Sherman.
It's heavier than the Sherman. So think about that. Now the Challenger, I guarantee, is going to weigh more than 80 pounds.
Yeah, someone said in the chat it was 110 pounds. They feel.
So that's a lot.
Hey, there's not. Hey, listen. Segments. You have portability. Mid portability with range, and then insane heaviness, range, speed, everything you need. I think Inmotion is just trying to hit that market. To his point, the market that they're catering to right now is kind of, maybe plateauing. So maybe that's why they're trying to. I guess for them, they're trying to see how it makes sense financially. That's what I think.
Right.
Inmotion would be wise to offer a lighter version limited to 60 kilometers per hour. For those who don't need more and want a lighter wheel. This version could have 18x3 tire also. The top version would function as a halo product, and the lighter version would be the one most people choose. The 22-inch, or maybe it's a 20x3-inch, he doesn't know, tire might be okay for me if they get it feeling somewhat reactive. But this might be a mistake. Bigger is not better, and I think we're already we already have reached the sweet spot of that is true. I love my 18x3, but I will have an open mind on this. I have okay. So then he goes, yeah, that's it. I mean, wow, that's a freaking great statement right there. That's really really insightful. I love that response. He's basically saying, listen, the V11 is perfect wheel. Well, the V11 is a great wheel with immediate potential if they just change a few things around, and that will be.
That's all they need to do is just do a few things, man. Give it a little more power. You know, give it a bigger battery,
better suspension,
and they can
so that at least it's not springy like a pogo stick.
Right.
That's what people say. It's like
something so that you can control the rebound on it.
Yeah.
And a wheel.
But what would be a good battery for the V11? 27?
Dude, think about this. Like my buddy used to ride that thing all over the place, and he would get good mileage out of it. Just if they put a 2,000 watt battery in it. If you put another 500 watt hour battery in it, or even put whatever the 2,400 watt battery that's in the KS20, 22.
Right. Because to his point, I mean, you don't want it too heavy, right?
Yeah, you don't want it too heavy.
Because right now the V11 has a battery of 1,500 watt hours. That's interesting. It's just 1,500, dude. Right,
and you have to look at what are most riders riding. How much is a lot of riders, are they riding 30, 40 miles in one shot? No, not. Most riders aren't doing that.
So there we go. We have the V11, which is a beautiful wheel. I agree with that 100%. Although when I see a V11, I can't get Sean's video out of my head. The one where he went, I guess he hit a pothole or something and it just splattered all over the place. I mean, to me, the video looked too perfect for it to be. I don't know if he took it apart on the street and put everything around. I'm just playing. But that video, I just can't. Every time I look at this wheel, I can't get his video out of my head. Like everything was everywhere. I'm like, did this really happen? But it is a great wheel. A lot of people swear by it. You know, I don't hear anyone say anything bad about it per se. The main issue is range and speed. That's it. You know, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, look at it. It's a well-built machine. Now, there are some people, if I do a quick search right now, if I just go to, well, let's look at the specs for a real quick minute. Okay, so weight is 50. Look at this, dude. The weight is basically 60 pounds, 59.5 pounds. The top cruising speed is 34.1 miles per hour with firmware update. Okay. Charge time, 3 hours, 8. Okay, that's normal. Max load. 1,500 watt and 57 mile range, obviously riding at like 2 miles an hour. But but it's a 1,500 because look, you're saying okay, look, this is why I don't like this spec stuff, because you have a video of a guy doing I forgot his name, but he did a video of the KS22 getting 55 miles going at 16 miles an hour. All right.
Right.
And that's a 2,200 watt hour battery. This is a 1,500 watt hour battery. How is it getting 57 miles?
Exactly.
I just don't understand why everybody does this. Like, just say it for what it is. And this is probably why I'm not getting wheels, because I look at these wheels and I shoot them down with a freaking gun. Like, what is this? Like, now, for people who absolutely have no clue about wheels, they will look at this at face value and just say, what? 57 miles in one charge? Oh my gosh. And not even think twice about what they're actually seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they get it, and then they do a review on it, and they're like, holy smokes, I'm only getting 30 miles.
Yeah, like 30 miles, 40 miles.
It says 57. What they should do for fairness is put 57 miles at, I know they're protecting themselves by saying under real conditions, but nobody knows what real conditions is. What you should say is 57 miles per hour, rider weight, blah, 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 at speed of under 20 miles an hour. Because that's realistic.
Yeah. It depends on the terrain. If you have hills, it depends on the wind. It depends on the weight of the rider. So there's a lot of things
Yes,
that go in. Everyone's not
but one
130 pounds.
yes, but one factor that cannot be ignored is the speed. If you ride at 16 miles an hour, chances are, if you're 230 pounds, you can get close to 40 miles on that thing, and that wouldn't be entirely disheartening to you for after spending tons of money on a thing. You know what I mean? But if you're 230 pounds and you're doing 30 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour and you get like 20-mile range, you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I'll give you some a little tidbit here. So I changed the tire on the Tesla from a 2.1 to a 2.5, and changing that tire from
you did say
dude,
that.
I lost about 10 miles of range on that thing. Yeah,
10 miles.
Yeah, about 10 miles.
Interesting. But it is a fantastic wheel. There's no doubt. I don't like this thing right here. I saw a guy do a jump and this came down. Didn't come off.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but it's a great wheel. And then Kujiro's did a great video on it. But it's a fantastic wheel. You know, the motor is 2,200 watts, 31 miles per hour max. And let's look at the V12 for a second.
That's what I was saying. I said this to you. If people are looking to get a torque hero, you might as well just go out and buy the V11.
I know.
You're getting the same specs, man.
That's a good point. Where is it?
If you're not getting a hero in a high speed,
you mean the V12? You mean the V12, right?
No. I'm talking about if you're looking at a suspension wheel. If you look at the hero torque, the speed's about the darn same on a thing as the V11. It's not. It's about the same unless you get it in a high speed.
Yeah.
And
so
save
here
yourself on $1,300.
So here's the thing: you have the Inmotion V12. Well, the thing is, hype is hard to get. Hype is a thing, dude. Like, it's a real product. Hype is a product. I mean, hype is a real product. Like, they sell you hype. So it's really hard not to bite cake that's put in your face, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you got to go with Public Enemy. Don't believe the hype. That's you got to listen to Public Enemy, man.
Hype is a real product, and it's really hard to, you see the KS22, you see the KS20, the hype is insane. You see the Master, the hype is insane. Now you've seen the Challenger, freaking hype is insane. That's the first product they sell you for free. They sell it to you for free. And that product is what gets you to the first purchase. So they got to sell you the hype. It's up to you to sift through the weeds, but I'm sorry, the hype is a real thing.
See, that's the thing too. What wheel has lived up to all the hype when it first comes out? None of them.
The Sherman.
Well, you know what?
But there was no hype. There was no hype
for the Sherman. Sherman was just like, here we are. It was like a Jack in the Box. They just start twisting on the handle, say, hey, bam, here it is. And it caught everybody off guard.
That's a very good point. I like this person. He says V11 is still fairly popular road trip. At least on EVs, it has been sold out for like 2 months. Now, I'm not sure if it's sold out for 2 months mainly because it's popularity. Of course, it's because of its popularity. But I'm guessing the reason it's not restocked is because of a lot of issues in the world right now, supply chains and all that stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reason, because I work for a certain company, and we're also talking about issues with chips and stuff like that. So that could be a reason too. So keep that in mind. But anyway, here we have the V12, which is their latest wheel, okay, in the performance area. And a lot of people love this wheel. Have you ridden this wheel?
Yeah, I got to ride EUC Vibes.
And you like it?
I liked it. It does not feel like a 16-inch wheel at all. It feels like a bigger wheel. More than enough torque, more than enough speed. It's a great wheel.
Yeah, it looks like a good wheel. So let's look at some of this stuff. You have available at either high speed or high torque types. That's interesting. I think that's when they started following Gotways, and you have EV. Oh my gosh.
I would go with a high speed. I wouldn't go. I'm not a big torque fan. That's just me though.
So 43.5 miles an hour cruising speed, yet to be tested. Interesting. So that was at that time. Charge time 6 hours, max load 265. Again, well below 2,000 watt hours, dude. Like that's just in motion. Like recently, they've I don't think they have one wheel that. Well, they don't have one wheel that's above 2,000 watt hours. It's just that.
Sorry,
and then you have 70 miles. No, that's fine. We're gonna end soon. But anyway, you have a wheel here that does not have suspension, but has everything else you need. You know what I mean? A good cruising speed, because I think 43, 45 miles an hour is a good speed for most people. So I honestly
decent
think
range.
Decent range. But this is, I don't look at this. I take this and I cut it in half. You know what I mean? That's because I imagine that you're going to ride at 25 to 30 miles an hour. But
Right.
if you're the type like that guy we just read from Electric Unicycle Forum that ride on bike paths most of the time, then yes, you could absolutely get that type of range. And if you weigh really,
See, but I cut in and out. I cut it in and out of bike paths though. Like
Right.
I'll ride on the bike path, and if I see it's clear, I come out and get right on the road. But that's riding in New York because bike paths are dangerous up here anyway.
But look at the price. See, so these are good prices. These are
That's what I'm
reasonable.
saying, dude.
That's reasonable.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you
That's
look at the
reasonable.
price and you start, okay, this is what I get. You're getting
That's
a good
reasonable.
product.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's reasonable. Now with the Master, something like the Master, maybe it's reasonable because it's like a new type of product for Gotway. I'm not sure, but I can get it for $2,800 on AliExpress without the same,
Right.
customer service.
My thing with the Master is, and it's a great wheel, but I don't think you should have to dump 400, 500 extra bucks to bring it up to par.
Yeah.
If you're already paying $3,000, $3,200 for a wheel, you should be able to yank that thing out the box, charge it, and ride.
Right. That's it. Just like the EX20S, just like the Hero,
Yeah, pull it out the box and ride it.
and just
You
ride
shouldn't
that
have to
thing.
dump all that
You
extra
shouldn't
money
have to
into
do
it.
that. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. That's it. I mean, any last words about the V13, man? Because
Nah, dude, it's just we got to see it now.
We
We
didn't
just
forget
gotta
about
see
your
it.
we didn't forget about your comments and stuff. It's just I think it would be more beneficial to have a separate video or separate live, just covering, because there's a lot we can take. We can have a whole live on just comments.
Oh, we
You know what
should.
I mean? So
We should just off the comments,
Yeah.
throw them in there like we're playing bingo.
yeah,
Throw them in a container.
That's it.
Pull them
That's
out,
right.
man.
That's what we're gonna do. So yeah, go on. Last words about the V13 and just how you feel about it.
I'm done. Like I said, I don't want to get on the hype train. So I'm just going to wait and see. I'm just going to wait and see what comes out when they have the demo day, or whoever gets the wheel, and that's it. Let's see, see what happens.
Yeah. I like I said, I was not expecting that. I expected that Inmotion would release a wheel, but I did not expect when it kept going up and up and up and up. I'm like, what, is this a fake video? What the frick is going on? This thing went past 80, past 90. I'm like, whoa. So
they're definitely coming out swinging. And another thing, I think why they did that is the issues that they had with the V12. They're trying to reel people back in. They want to reel people back in.
But I think to that guy's point that we read on the Electric Unicycle Forum, a good way to do that is not to introduce more possibilities for failure. You're trying to fix a problem with a bigger problem that you're introducing to yourself. So that's the negative side of me thinking. The positive side of me, the more productive side of me is saying, why didn't you just take something that's working, which is the V12, the V11, like that guy said, that's working great, that people love. They just don't like the fact that it's breaking.
All right.
Create another version of that, maybe version 2 or whatever, and really put it to the test and do it well.
Dude, we said the same thing about the S18. Why didn't they just do an upgraded version of the S18?
The S20. You said that.
Yeah.
You said that. Yeah.
So I don't understand why they had to take and reinvent
They're
following
Gotway's steps now, because didn't we complain about? Remember, we used to complain about Gotway. Sean made a great video on that where he's like, why don't they? I'm talking like Sean. like, like, instead of coming up with new wheels, why don't you just fix the one you have? Like, why do you just get rid of, they just completely get rid of the problem by saying, let's build a whole new wheel that has completely different specs. Just ignore it does like you didn't see it. And here's a new wheel. And then you have new problems. You have new problems. And then just like the button for the MSP, it's like, wow, like, why did you do that? You could have just, build a whole new wheel with the button. But instead, they built the same wheel and just attached a button that didn't even look like it was part of the wheel. It's like, what are you doing? So,
dude, I don't.
So it looks like they're following the same thing. And we're just, guys, we love these companies. Okay, at the end of the day, I don't want you guys to think, oh, we hate these. We love.
No, dude, I love wheels. Period. If I could have them all, I would. Trust me.
What? Dude, every night, like sometimes I dream that I wake up and I'm in a warehouse of just wheels. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the only times I've had a wheel in a cart, I had it in the cart. I'm like, okay, like, no, take it off the cart. Yeah, dude.
Please, man. just play with the cart. That's called window shopping for wheels. Okay, dude, we're just window shopping for wheels. That's the best thing. Window shopping when you don't have money. When you don't have money, or you have money, but because of how they approach these, like, we can't return these wheels. It's not like you can buy. You can, but you can't take it out of the box, because the first time I bought my Tesla, I asked, "Can I return it?" And I think that what he said to me is, if you bring it outside and there's dirt on the tread or any type of wear on the tread, no,
they're not taking it back. Wow.
They're not taking it back. Unless, obviously, there's a major issue. And even then, you don't get your money back. They'll just try to accommodate you, which is cool, but it's not the same as... If we can ever get to the point, and I think that's something that's understated, if we can ever get to the point where e-wheels or EUCs are treated like regular products, where you can go buy, purchase, like, return after 30 days or 14 days in the case of the Apple iPhone, then, dude, that will be a game changer. That alone will be a game changer, because now companies will really feel people don't like this, or people hate this, or whatever, you know what I mean? And then actually that would create a good secondhand market too. But that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You buy that wheel, that's yours. You have it's your responsibility to put it on Facebook Marketplace to get rid of it. So let's see. I heard they fixed it. Don't really. Has Inmotion fixed their ball bearing problem? These are good questions for next time, guys. That's what I want to say. I'm very psyched about a wheel that goes insane speeds, and because of how big it is, I think it'll have a great seat. I know Inmotion does not mess around with lights. Inmotion does not mess around with lights. I think it'll have a great tail light. I think it'll have a great front light. Inmotion doesn't mess around with quality. I think the quality will be fantastic. The issue is, I feel like their testing needs to be upped. That's my thing. That's all. So,
well, that is it for me. Hey, dude, I'm going to jump off this thing.
Yes.
But I appreciate you for letting me come on.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
All the viewers watching. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
love y'all.
Yeah.
And remember, you get on your wheel, you ride it.
Ride it like you hate it.
Be safe out there, but you ride it like you hate it.
That's awesome.
I'm Sensei. Hello. Good night.
Good night, man.
All right. Later, bro.
Later. Awesome. That was fantastic. So that was Sensei Vegan, guys. Always love his input. But yeah, I'm going to say good night as well. But the challenger is here. And the topic of the evening for my live was, are we... what did I... I completely forgot it. Have we made it? I think that's what I put, right? Have we made it? Or are we there? Let me see. I completely forgot my live title, dude. It says, have we arrived? Wow. And when I say have we arrived, I'm really referring to competing with like other automobiles. You know what I mean? Motorcycles, scooters, because half the scooters out there, they do like 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. With the souped up ones, they do like 60 to 70 miles an hour. with a lot of smoke coming out from the back, indicating that they were tuned. But the point is, if Inmotion is able to pull this off correctly with no issues such as cutouts, because that is not something we want to deal with at that speed. That's like sudden death right there. And I don't think Inmotion will take that lightly. I really think that they will test it to the limit and make sure that they regain trust in the market. But I personally don't feel they should have gone in that direction. They could have gone in the direction of just upgrading the V11, upgrading the V12, and making it better, doing real tests, better real world tests, and releasing a brand new version that satisfies every user where quality and safety is concerned. They didn't have to bring out the V13 Challenger or whatever. But every company has their reasons for doing things. And like the guy said, I think this is one of their flagship products that will probably set the stage for everything I just mentioned that they should do with the lower wheels where quality is concerned. So Inmotion has, for a second time, entered the performance market. So let's see how well they do. Guys, I will see you on the other one. We are going to do a separate live for your comments. I haven't ignored them. All right, that's it. I don't have an outro though. That's weird. I didn't have time to set up an outro, but that's okay. I'll just play the video from Inmotion again. Guys, have a good night. Thank you, Road Trip. Keep up the good work. Don't worry about companies not sending you wheels right now. Soon your channel will get huge and they will come to you. Hey, I have to make that happen, right? So let's see if we can make that happen. Anyway, the point is I'm gonna work on setting up the subscriber thing, the join thing, and let's see if you guys can assist there as well. So any little amount helps because these wheels cost money. What would be great is if I get a wheel, because I'm not the only reviewer. There are lots of reviewers out there. We could send wheels to some of my subscribers, and you guys get to test it. But too much talk. Let's just do things one step at a time. Guys, have an awesome night. Thank you for checking in. This was a great topic. I hope we covered at least some of what you thought we were going to cover. When we create this live for just your comments, we'll be able to answer a lot more of these questions. And hopefully by then they'll have a ton more information, because right now we don't have much information. We're just speculating. So guys, have an awesome night, okay? Enjoy yourselves. Ride safe.
To provide extra safety guarantee, we implemented redundant Today, we're going to share our latest technologies and innovations on the motor of electric unicycle Challenger with you. As you know, Inmotion has been cautious with high-speed EUC models during the past years. But this time, we want to do something different. While providing the extremely high-speed riding, we have fully considered the safety margin of each component. As the most powerful motor ever made for the EUC, Challenger's motor can achieve a lift-up speed by 140 kilometers per hour, a rated power by 4,500 watts, a peak power by 10,000 watts, a max torque by 300 Nm. It's safe to say that the Challenger will conquer any hills with ease, travel at any speed with promising safety margins. Like its predecessors, it's a hollow motor, well-sealed, IPX6 waterproof level. Just enjoy the freedom of riding. No need to worry about water or dust getting inside. To produce such an amount of power, the motor is much heavier than all of its counterparts in the market. To allow the motor to get enough input current, we use 8 AWG phase conductor cables, which is double size of the toughest wiring in the current market, that can sustain 160 amps continuous current. As many of our users like stunt riding, such a design can reduce the heat of the phase conductor by 75% during stunt riding, effectively preventing the damage of the phase conductor caused by high temperature of the motor. With reinforced rim design, it can support vertical impact up to 2,700 kilograms, which is double the pressure of V12 HT. To provide extra safety guarantee, we implemented redundant Hall sensor systems. In case either one fails while riding, the other one can take over the task to make sure no cutout happens. Now, I believe you have a basic understanding about the motor of Challenger and cannot wait to try it out. Please stay tuned for more details as it hits on the market.